Hello, today we're going to look at solving quadratic equations graphically. Now, before I do that, I'm going to solve this equation by factorization, and I'm going to relate it back to solving the equation graphically. So if we look at this equation here, the quadratic equation, first thing we're going to do, factorization, look for a common factor. So what goes into both? Well, x goes into both, therefore x is a common factor. X multiplied by what gives us x squared? Well, that's x, and x multiplied by what gives us negative 4x? Well, that's negative 4. And hopefully remember, when you factorize, we've got two, or in this case we've got two terms multiplied together to give us 0. Therefore either of those could equal 0. So you've got x equals 0, and you've also got x subtract 4 equals 0. So x equals 4. Now hopefully you can see, and you should be able to see, x equals 0. Cuts the x-axis there, and x equals 4. That relates to that. And if we look back at this equation, essentially what we're doing is we're finding out where the y-coordinate, if I compare it with this graph up here, or the equation of the graph, where the y-coordinate is 0. So whenever you've got this equation, a quadratic equation, and you make it equal to 0, you are finding out the values of x where y equals 0. Or probably a simpler way of phrasing that is where the graph cuts the x-axis. Now if you're solving this graphically, in other words this equation graphically, all you're doing is you're finding out where it cuts the x-axis. So you can graph it using a computer package, find out the values, in this case x equals 0 and x equals 4, or you can draw it by hand and you still find out that x equals 0 and x equals 4. So remember, when you've got this sort of equation, quadratic equation equal to 0, you want to graph it, well, graph it however way you like, and you're finding out where it cuts the x-axis, or where the y-coordinate is 0. Goodbye, and thanks for watching.